When it comes to truly driving a man crazy in bed, the secret doesn't begin with some hidden move or a new technique that you've never read about before. It begins with something far more powerful, far more magnetic than any physical action you can take. It starts with confidence. And I don't mean the kind of confidence that comes from being flawless or looking like someone out of a magazine, because that's not what men respond to on a deep level. Confidence is about how you carry yourself, how you allow yourself to be seen, how you step into intimacy without apology, without hesitation, and without second-guessing your worth. Think about it. When you walk into a room and you know you belong there, people feel it. The same thing happens in intimacy. If you go into the moment worried about how you look, if you're overthinking whether you're doing everything right, if you're constantly inside your own head analyzing, then you're not truly present. And presence is the single most intoxicating quality you can bring to him. He doesn't want perfection. He wants the real, unfiltered version of you, the one who knows she's desirable because she already decided she is. Confidence doesn't mean being loud or over the top. It can be quiet. It can be subtle. It can be in the way you look him in the eyes and hold that gaze a second longer than usual. It can be in the way you allow yourself to touch him without asking for permission, because deep down you know you have every right to be there in that moment. It can be in the way you remove all that pressure to perform and instead choose to enjoy the experience yourself. When you enjoy yourself, when you're lost in the pleasure of the moment, that energy radiates. He feels it and it drives him wild. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking confidence is about appearance alone. But here's the truth. Confidence is energy. It's the energy of saying, I'm enough right now as I am. I don't need to try too hard. I don't need to be perfect. And I don't need to hide anything. That kind of energy changes everything. If you've ever been around someone who just owns their space without trying, you know how magnetic it is. Now imagine bringing that same energy into intimacy. It's electric. Confidence is also about freedom. The freedom to laugh in the middle of a passionate moment if something funny happens instead of feeling embarrassed. The freedom to say what you want without fear that it's too much or too little. The freedom to touch him where you want, how you want, without second guessing whether he'll like it. Because here's the thing, when you stop holding back, when you stop editing yourself in the moment, he feels safe to let go too. Your confidence gives him permission to surrender, and that's where real passion explodes. I'll tell you this, when a man is with a woman who is deeply comfortable in her own skin, it doesn't matter what she looks like. It doesn't matter if her body is perfect by society's standards, because all he can focus on is her energy. Confidence makes every curve, every movement, every breath you take 10 times more captivating. And the best part is it's not something you have to fake. It's not about pretending to be confident. It's about reminding yourself in those moments that you are already worthy of desire. So the next time you think about how to drive him crazy, don't start with a technique. Don't start with a trick. Start with yourself. Start with deciding, before anything even happens, that you are more than enough. Walk into that moment like you belong there, because you do. Let yourself be seen, let yourself be felt, and watch how quickly he becomes addicted to not just your body, but your presence. That's the simple secret. Confidence is the foundation that makes every other move, every touch, every word infinitely more powerful. If confidence is the foundation, then playfulness is the spark that keeps the fire alive. There's something irresistible about someone who doesn't take everything so seriously, especially in moments that are supposed to be intimate and exciting. Too often, people think sex has to look like some movie scene, intense, heavy, perfectly choreographed. But the truth is, what actually makes those moments unforgettable isn't just passion, it's play. When you bring a sense of fun, teasing, and lightheartedness, you transform intimacy from something routine into something that feels alive and unpredictable. Playfulness is what keeps desire from going stale. It's that cheeky smile when you know you're driving him crazy. It's that moment you pull back just when he thought he had you, or when you whisper something in his ear that makes him grin and ache for you at the same time. Think about it, anyone can follow steps or techniques, but not everyone can create an experience where the other person feels like they're on an adventure. When you bring play into the moment, you keep him guessing, you keep him engaged, and you make him feel like being with you is a unique experience he could never get anywhere else. Playfulness also breaks tension. Sometimes, when two people are intimate, they put this unnecessary pressure on themselves to perform, to impress, to get it right. And in that pressure, the joy disappears. But when you're playful, when you allow yourself to laugh, tease, and not take it so seriously, you create space for both of you to relax. And relaxation is what allows passion to flow naturally. If something awkward happens, and it will, because you're human, you can laugh it off instead of feeling embarrassed. That laugh, that shared moment of humor, becomes part of the intimacy instead of something that takes away from it. There's also a power in teasing that playfulness brings. Men love anticipation, and a little playful resistance makes the reward even more intense. A smile that says you know exactly what you're doing, pulling him in close and then pulling back, giving him just enough to make him want more, that drives him crazy. It's not about manipulation, it's about creating a dance, an exchange where both of you are constantly excited about what happens next. That unpredictability is addictive. Playfulness also shows confidence in a subtle way. It says, I'm comfortable enough here to joke, to tease, to be myself, and that comfort makes him feel closer to you. Think about how much stronger your bond becomes when intimacy isn't just about physical release, but about joy, laughter, and shared fun. It's not only sexy, it's emotionally connecting, because he starts to associate being with you not just with passion, but with happiness. That's a combination that makes you unforgettable. And here's something most people overlook. Playfulness isn't about big gestures. It's in the little things. A sly grin across the room before you even touch. A playful comment that makes him laugh and blush at the same time. A sudden unexpected kiss when he's least expecting it. These tiny moments carry more weight than you realize because they create memories, not just moments. He'll remember how you made him feel, excited, teased, alive. At the end of the day, intimacy should be fun. It should be something you both look forward to, not something that feels like a performance. And playfulness is the easiest way to keep it fun. When you tease, when you laugh, when you bring that light energy into the moment, you make passion feel effortless. You make him want to come back, not just because of what you do, but because of the way you make him feel like no one else can. One of the simplest but most powerful secrets to driving a man crazy is learning the art of anticipation. Too many people rush, thinking that the faster they get to the main event, the better. But passion isn't built on speed, it's built on tension. It's built on those small moments that stretch time, that make every second feel charged because he knows something is coming, but he doesn't know when or how. That suspense is intoxicating, and when you understand how to use it, you can turn an ordinary moment into something unforgettable. Anticipation works because it engages the mind as much as the body. When you take your time, when you slow things down, you give his imagination space to run wild. A touch on the shoulder, a kiss that lingers but doesn't go further, a pause right when he expects you to keep going. Those moments make his desire build higher and higher. The truth is, most people underestimate just how much of intimacy happens in the mind. What he imagines in those seconds of waiting can often be even more powerful than the actual act itself. Think about the last time you really craved something. Maybe it was food, maybe it was a trip, maybe it was a person. Part of what made it so exciting was the waiting, the build-up, the not having it immediately. Anticipation magnifies desire. It makes the reward feel 10 times more intense because he's had to wait for it, He's had to think about it. He's had to want it. That's exactly how it works in intimacy. If you give everything away too quickly, it's over just as fast. But if you draw it out, if you create a journey, the destination feels so much sweeter. And here's where anticipation becomes even more powerful. It makes you unforgettable. A man might enjoy something that happens quickly, but it fades from his memory just as fast. What lingers with him is the way you made him ache for it, the way you kept him on edge, the way you had control of the moment simply by holding back. That memory burns into his mind, and long after the moment is over, he's still replaying it, still craving that feeling you gave him. Anticipation doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as taking a little longer with your kisses, letting them build instead of diving in all at once. It can be in the way you whisper something but don't act on it right away, leaving his mind running with possibilities. It can be the way you slowly take your time, making every touch deliberate instead of rushed. Even something as subtle as pulling back with a playful smile, just when he thought he had you, can make him want you even more. What makes anticipation so magnetic is that it gives both of you permission to savor the moment instead of racing through it. It slows everything down in a way that makes it more meaningful, more intense, and more addictive. And when you're the one guiding that pace, when you're the one who knows how to build that suspense, you become the person who doesn't just give pleasure, but creates an entire experience. So remember, the next time you want to drive him crazy, don't be in a hurry. Let him wait. Let him feel that delicious tension of almost but not yet. The beauty of anticipation is that it makes every second matter, every touch count, every glance feel loaded with meaning. It's the difference between something forgettable and something that stays with him long after. Because passion isn't just about what happens. It's about what you make him feel in the waiting. The biggest misconception people carry into intimacy is that it's all about technique, that if you just learn the right move or perfect a certain skill, you'll be unforgettable. But what actually makes the deepest impact isn't technique, it's energy. It's the way you show up in that moment with your full attention. Because no matter how impressive your moves might be, if your mind is elsewhere, if you're distracted, if you're not truly present, he'll feel it. And what he craves more than anything is the sense that you're with him fully, body and mind. When you give someone your undivided attention, it's rare, and that's what makes it powerful. We live in a world where people are constantly distracted, always thinking about the next thing, always caught up in their own insecurities. So when a man is with someone who makes him feel like he's the only person in the world at that moment, it becomes intoxicating. It's not about perfection, it's about presence. It's about listening to his reactions, noticing the small ways his body responds, paying attention to what excites him and adjusting in the moment. That kind of attentiveness is what makes him feel seen, desired, and connected to you. Energy is contagious. If you're in your head worrying about whether you're doing everything right, he'll sense that hesitation. But if you're truly enjoying yourself, if you're present, playful, and lost in the moment, that energy transfers to him. He feels it, and it amplifies his own desire. This is why someone who isn't technically skilled can still drive a man crazy, because she brings passion, focus, and presence, and those things are far more impactful than any set of polished techniques. Being attentive also means tuning into more than just physical cues. It's noticing his breathing, the way his hands move, the way his voice changes. It's reading the unspoken signals that tell you what he loves, what excites him, and what draws him deeper into the moment. This isn't about being a performer, it's about being a partner. When he feels that you're not just going through the motions but are genuinely engaged, it creates a level of intimacy that can't be faked. Another part of attentive energy is allowing yourself to slow down and savor what's happening. When you rush, when you treat intimacy like a checklist of things to get through, you lose the magic. But when you take your time and stay present, each moment becomes richer, more meaningful. You don't have to constantly think about what's next. You just have to be there, noticing him, enjoying him, letting yourself be fully immersed in the experience. That's when he feels the depth of your energy, and it's what makes him crave you long after the moment ends. The truth is, men don't remember every single thing you do, but they always remember how you made them feel. If he feels like you were with him, really with him, that memory burns into his mind. He'll think about the way your energy pulled him in, the way your focus made him feel important, the way your presence made everything else fade away. And once he experiences that no amount of technique from someone else can compete with the connection you gave him. So instead of obsessing over tricks or complicated moves, focus on energy, focus on being present, focus on giving him the gift of your undivided attention. Because at the end of the day, passion isn't about how much you do, it's about how deeply you connect. And when he feels that connection, that attentiveness, it's something he won't just enjoy in the moment, it's something he'll never forget. One of the most overlooked yet powerful tools you have to drive a man crazy isn't your body, it's your voice. The way you use your words, your tone, and even your silence can ignite more desire than anything else. Most people think intimacy is purely physical, but the truth is, the mind is the biggest erogenous zone. And the way you speak, the things you say, and the confidence with which you say them can unlock a level of passion that touch alone can't reach. Your voice carries emotion. A whisper at the right time can send a shiver down his spine, because it's not just about what you're saying. It's about how it makes him feel. A soft compliment in his ear, telling him how much you want him, instantly makes him feel desired. And desire is fuel. When he feels wanted, when he feels like you're not just there, but you're craving him, it takes everything to another level. Men don't always say it, but they need that affirmation. They need to feel chosen, admired, and appreciated, and your words can give him that more directly than anything else. Playfulness comes alive through words too. Teasing him, saying something cheeky or slightly daring, keeps the energy fun and unpredictable. It makes him smile, it makes him laugh, and it makes him want you even more. There's a thrill in using your voice to build suspense, to guide him, to keep him on his toes. A single playful line can shift the mood from ordinary to electric. And when he realizes that you can drive him wild with just a sentence or two, he'll be hooked. Using your voice also means being confident enough to express what you want. Many people hold back, afraid they'll sound too direct or too much. But the truth is, men love it when you communicate openly. If you tell him what you like, if you guide him with your words, it not only makes the moment better for you, but also excites him. It shows confidence, it shows honesty, and it shows that you're not afraid to take control when you want to. That balance of giving and guiding keeps him engaged and craving more. Even silence, when used intentionally, can be powerful. Pausing before you speak, letting him wait for your next word, makes him hang on every sound. A breath, a sigh, even a quiet moan, it communicates just as much as any sentence, sometimes even more. It gives him feedback, it tells him what's working, and it pulls him deeper into the moment. When he hears your voice shift with pleasure, it's not just arousing, it's validating, because it tells him he's affecting you. That kind of feedback is addictive. And don't underestimate the lasting impact of your words beyond the moment. A flirty message during the day, a quick line that hints at what you're thinking about, can stay in his mind for hours, building anticipation before you're even together. Words plant seeds in his imagination, and once they're there, he won't stop replaying them. That's the beauty of your voice. It has the power to turn his thoughts toward you long before and long after the moment itself. So remember, your words are not just filler, they are fuel. They build anticipation, they create connection, and they amplify desire. You don't have to say a lot. It's not about quantity, it's about impact. A whisper, a tease, a compliment, or even just letting him hear your breath can drive him to the edge. Your voice is your secret weapon, and when you use it with intention, it becomes the bridge between his mind and his body. And once you master that, you'll realize that sometimes the simplest words are the most powerful because they linger, they echo, and they make you unforgettable. Sometimes people believe that what makes intimacy unforgettable are the big, dramatic gestures, the over-the-top moves, the long rehearsed techniques, or the grand efforts to impress. But the truth is, what often leaves the deepest mark are the smallest, simplest things done with real intention. It's the way you touch him when he doesn't expect it, the way you glance at him with that spark in your eyes, the way your hand lingers just a second longer than necessary. Those little details, when done with presence and authenticity, can be far more powerful than anything complicated. Think about it for a moment. When someone brushes your hand lightly, sometimes it makes more of an impact than a full embrace. Why? Because it's subtle, unexpected, and loaded with meaning. The smallest gestures can send the clearest message. I see you, I want you, I'm here with you. And when he feels that message coming through in the simplest ways, it drives him crazy because it feels effortless yet deeply intentional. The smallest gestures are often the ones that show you're paying attention. A soft kiss on his neck when he's least expecting it, your fingers running lightly across his chest, or the way you lean in close and breathe him in before even saying a word. These moments may seem small to you, but to him, they can be unforgettable because it's not about doing more, it's about making every little thing count. Men remember how you made them feel, and those tiny acts of affection and desire sink deep because they feel personal and real. It's also in body language. The way you smile at him with just a hint of mischief, the way you tilt your head when you're looking at him, the way you position yourself closer so that your presence surrounds him. These gestures don't shout, they whisper, and it's those whispers that often leave him craving more. Passion doesn't always need to be loud. It's the quiet, intentional details that build the strongest kind of intimacy. Another part of this is that small gestures create safety. When you reach for his hand, when you touch his arm softly, when you give him that look of reassurance or desire, you're creating a connection that makes him feel seen. And when he feels seen, he lets his guard down. That's when the real passion happens, because he's not just experiencing pleasure, he's experiencing closeness. That closeness makes every moment more intense. What's beautiful about this is that it takes the pressure off of trying to constantly do more. You don't need to overwhelm him with effort. You don't need to perform or overcomplicate things. Sometimes simply leaning in and whispering something in his ear can do more than 1,000 moves ever could. Sometimes letting your hand slowly trace down his arm builds more fire than anything else. The smallest gestures work because they're personal, they're simple, and they're filled with intention. And these gestures don't just matter in the heat of the moment, they matter before and after too. A playful touch on his back when you pass by, a lingering kiss before leaving, a smile across the room that only he knows the meaning of. All of these tiny things keep the connection alive outside of the bedroom as well. They create a thread of intimacy that runs through everything, so that when you finally are alone together, the fire is already burning. So don't underestimate the power of the small. It's in the details that passion often finds its strongest fuel. A look, a touch, a whisper, a pause. These are the things that linger in his memory long after. You don't need to do more. You just need to be intentional with the little things you already have at your disposal. When you understand that, you'll realize that the simplest gestures can be the biggest game changers, because they're the ones that make him feel wanted in a way he'll never forget.